Hello everyone, it's your boys from the Dragon Radar podcast, and we are back this time with a review and our opinions of the new Dragon Ball superhero film. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a longer video, but I'm excited because it was a good film.
It was.
And if you're wondering, if you're wondering how we've seen this, then don't worry about it, matey. But yeah, we did see it, and we seen it in Japanese with no subtitles. And since we both can't speak Japanese, there was bits and pieces we didn't quite understand. But we did watch Goresh's video, so if you haven't already seen that, he does a full run through of the film, which we're not going to do fully here. We're going to talk about our likes and dislikes more than a full run through of the film. Yeah. But yeah, word of warning at the start, of course, this is going to be packed with spoilers. If you're watching this, it does say spoilers in the video as well, in the title, so, you know, you've been warned. But yeah, let's jump in. So, first thing we need to talk about is Gohan.
Gohan, indeed.
Yeah.
Gohan, is it Gohan Blanco?
That's what people online are calling it. So, of course, Gohan did get a new transformation in this film. And yeah, his hair turned white, his eyes turned red, and it was interesting. I think he's got a kink for gingers, you know. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it because, you know, he turned Super Saiyan 2 when Android 16 dies during the Cell arc. And of course, he's a big ginger guy. And again, Piccolo, who turns orange, which we'll get to. He turns orange and he's about to die. And this unlocks Gohan Blanco, or whatever it's going to be known as, this new form of Gohan's. So I think he's got a thing.
I don't believe there's an actual official English translation for it yet, is there?
Not yet. Not as of recording, at least, anyway.
Yeah. I think they've literally just took very much an inspiration from Super Saiyan 3, and I don't know if it's a good idea.
Kind of, because like his hair isn't quite as long as Super Saiyan 3, but it's definitely longer than Super Saiyan 2. It's kind of in that middle range. Yeah. But it's like with Super Saiyan 3, it goes long, but it goes down. Yeah, like it's curved down the back of Goku. Whereas here, this form, it's like fully straight, like back. It's not down. It's like just straight
been
back.
Electrocuted.
Yeah, pretty much. His hair's on point, but it's not upright. It's just backwards, and it's fully white.
I think what they've done is they've took his Super Saiyan 2, and they made it so much more literal, because your picture behind you, where they've kept this flick. Yeah, his little hair flick from Super Saiyan 2. So they've kept the essence of his Super Saiyan 2. They've harkened back to it. Mm-hmm. And I like that, because that was what they focused in on him at first.
Yeah. Because it is just a throwback to Super Saiyan 2. Like this entire transformation. Yeah. It was Piccolo saying the exact same words that Goku says to Gohan to make him turn Super Saiyan 2, saying like, oh, you're the best and you're the strongest person, we need you, and all this stuff. Yeah. Piccolo says the exact same thing, and this is what caused them to transform again. But yeah.
And I think because in the Super Saiyan 2 transformation, his hair spikes directly up. I mean, it's the same as Bojack film, his hair spikes directly up, and I think they've stuck with that. Whereas obviously Goku, because it's so heavy, it drops behind him in Super Saiyan 3. Whereas with Gohan, they just said, nah, don't worry about it, and they just took the spiky up for Super Saiyan 2 and just went so literal with it and just kept it. And I just think it's like it's after the fight, once it's over,
when you see it properly,
he's like chatting with Piccolo, and it's just so bizarre.
Yeah,
that he's standing there chatting, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not straight up. It's back. It's like, if you know Phoenix Wright, that's how I kind of imagine it. It's like backwards. His hair goes backwards. That's how it is with this transformation, which is strange. But the transformation itself, I loved how it played out. I loved how it was a direct throwback to Super Saiyan 2. They did the exact same speech. He's getting transformed by a ginger, getting stomped on. So, you know, there's a lot of throwbacks here. But
like, it's very poignant how he's watching. But to be fair, he's just watching Piccolo getting absolutely. He's basically watching Piccolo get straight up murdered for about a solid 45 seconds. He's standing there just watching, and it's like you could probably do something at this point, Gohan, but I kind of get what we're going with here.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, because like he thinks Piccolo's died because he sees the whites in Piccolo's eyes, and that was the snapping point where his eyes turn red. And it's that same like red beam that you see during the Super Saiyan 2 transformation as well.
Where it like snaps between his head. Yeah, like the line snaps between his head.
Yeah, so I loved it. I loved the power up. I loved the transformation. That was the one moment in the film where I got like goosebumps when watching it. It was like, oh, Gohan, he's gotten a new form. It was great.
But I think, which we'll get to later, is I think they did another fantastic transformation.
Yeah,
we'll get to that later.
We will.
Yeah,
but yeah, the transformation as a whole, I loved it. But the hair, not the biggest fan. Can't admit. The colour's fine, I guess. Although I kind of, if he ever stands next to UI Goku, apart from the eye colour, it's going to look a bit similar. I don't know why they made it white. There's not really a reason for it. Or they don't even explain how he gets the transformation. He's just, his rage and anger builds up that much from people dying around him that he kind of explodes into this white form.
I mean, I know he's talked about in the previously like wanting to get a form that no one's reached before, but he didn't get that. He didn't train for that. Like the entire film pretty much focuses around Piccolo wanting him to train to get stronger.
Yeah, because he's been slacking.
Gohan has not trained at all. It's Piccolo wanting him to do that, whereas he has literally done none of that.
Yeah,
he just gets it from basically Pan suffering or Piccolo suffering or something like that. It's basically people around him suffering forces it to happen.
It's weird how that works because he relearns his ultimate form from Pan pretending to be hurt. But he unlocks a new level, like a level way beyond, because his teacher / best friend kind of, Piccolo, is almost dead. And that's the thing, is like, my daughter's getting hurt. Yes, I'm strong again. My best friend's almost dead. Oh, all out. Like, I mean, I know like Piccolo is a big character and he is his best friend or whatever, but you know, it's kind of priorities. Surely a kid should be a bigger priority.
We can't be bothered to pick up from school, man. It's like,
it's true. That's true. But I think we're kind of in agreement with the transformation. Great transformation, but the hair, I think
it does let it down. But I think the big question now is, MUI or blank or
that's why I think it's too similar, because like the ultimate Gohan is kind of sort of a little bit similar to not Ultra Instinct Goku. You know, I still got like the black hair, and now he's got UI, which is white, which kind of matches this whatever Blanco form. We'll call it that for now.
Yeah,
but it's too similar, even though they're two completely different transformations. And the only thing that this new form does is make him super strong, I guess.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any downside. He can hold the form the entire time for the fight.
And he literally just turned it off. Like, when you saw Pan at the end of the fight, you were just like, dink. Hi.
Yeah. So,
hello, child of mine. He seemed to have complete mastery of it immediately. So now the question is it a Super Saiyan 2 type thing where he has to get upset? Like, I know it's not canon, but he had to get upset in the BoJack film, just like he did against Cell to reactivate Super Saiyan 2 and everything like that. Or he had to get really hurt, or is it like, or can he just turn it on now? Or is it going to be Ultimate where he stops training and he has to, like, you know, what's it going to be in the future? Because obviously this is going to be a very strong form, and it's like Toriyama said that Gohan's the strongest out of everybody.
If he kept up training. That's a very important bit that people keep forgetting. Like they say, Toriyama said that Gohan's the strongest. But then they're not saying if he continued training.
That's true. Yeah. So it's but the thing is, like, if he trains, is Blanco stronger than Ultra Instinct?
Maybe. I don't know. I think, like, I get it. It's a film. They need to pack in a lot in such a short time frame. But the fact that Gohan was skinny and weak looking, he had lost all muscle. And then within one fight, he relearns Ultimate and gets a new form. And all of a sudden, people are like, yep, he's the strongest again. It's like, is he though? I doubt it. I don't think so. I think, personal opinion, I think Mastered Ultra Instinct is still better. But if Gohan trained, like actually trained, then yeah. But right now, nah.
But he's not gonna. It's not the character.
Yeah. People need to get over it now. Like, Gohan isn't a fighter. Yes, he is strong, and yes, he will fight if needed, but he is not that character who will continuously train.
Yeah.
But
it's never gonna be. This is Goku's show. This is Goku's show.
Goku and Vegeta are the fighters.
Yeah. This is Goku's show, followed by Vegeta, which is something we will get into shortly because there's something to talk about there as well.
Yeah. There's a lot we've got to go through, and I don't want to waste too much time on one point. But the final thing I think we should mention about Gohan is how the fight ends. So of course we haven't mentioned it yet, but the fight is against Max Cell, which we will talk about. But the final moments, the final move, Piccolo's been building. He's been saying, "Hit the Kamehameha," just like he did against Cell previously.
I love this, by the way.
Doesn't.
I absolutely love this.
I love this as well. I audibly when it happened. He hits a special beam cannon to defeat Max Cell. Oh my god. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. This isn't a son family film. This is a teacher and mentor film. This is like a teacher and student film. So this is a Gohan and Piccolo film. Well, so it is only right that it's a special beam cannon and not a Kamehameha to defeat the big bad. And I
completely loved that as well. I thought it was the best thing that happened in the entire film. Gohan used the special beam cannon to defeat Max Cell. Loved it.
Has he ever used that?
No. He has never used the special beam cannon, so he has mastered a new move, and it worked.
And he looked so good using it.
Yeah, he did. Because at first, I thought he was going to go for like the Masenko. I thought they're not going to do the Kamehameha again. It's going to be Gohan's actual move, the Masenko. But he didn't. He did the special beam cannon. I loved it.
No, it was very fitting because this is not a son family film. And it was just absolute chef's kiss moment.
Yeah, it was.
It was what they needed to finish it. And when he charged up, I just thought, oh yeah, you've done that right. Yeah, that's how it needed to end.
Yeah,
and I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely loved it. Yeah, since we do have a lot to go through, we'll move on to the next bit now. But you kind of mentioned this is a Gohan and Piccolo film. Well, I want to argue even more that this is a Piccolo film. This isn't a Gohan film necessarily. I think Gohan's almost like a side character because the entire film is Piccolo. It's his journey throughout this film from start to end, and the other characters join him on the way.
I think they did this just to prove me wrong. On the last podcast, how I said standalone film.
You said Piccolo should get a film.
Its transformation.
Yeah. Well, this is a Piccolo film. Like, I think people, like, when they were doing the teasers and everything for this, Gohan was heavily featured. Piccolo was obviously heavily featured as well. But people assumed, like, this is a Gohan film. It's about Gohan and Pan, and Gohan rescuing Pan, and Piccolo's there as well helping out. But no, this is fully a Piccolo film, and Gohan's a side character who, well, he's like the second main. He is the Vegeta to the Goku in this film, which is great. I love the fact that Piccolo was the focus. Completely loved that. I wasn't expecting it.
I would say he gets about 60% of this, and Gohan's about 40% easily, if not more.
I would argue more. Yeah.
Like it's easy that
this is the Piccolo film, which I loved because I'm a big fan of Piccolo, and I wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm. But it's literally his journey to unlock his potential.
Yeah,
that's what the film is.
Yeah, because from start to end,
as well as his excursions to, he's the one that finds out about Maxell. He's the one that finds out what the Red Ribbon Army's doing.
mm-hmm.
He's the one that goes to find out how to become stronger.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that unlocks his potential. It's all about him doing all of that.
Yeah.
And he's the one that baits out Gohan
mm-hmm.
to unlock his potential.
Yeah.
Gohan's only involvement in this film is the fight at the end.
Yeah.
That is his only involvement in this film, the fight at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
Piccolo
Gohan
does all the heavy lifting
in the film at all. Anything prior to this, other than the final fight, Gohan is pretty much not in this film.
Yeah. So this is what I want to mention first about Piccolo. So he obviously gets a new form, which we'll mention, but how he gets that form. So, they find out about the Red Ribbon Army and the building Maxell and stuff. He goes to Bulma because Bulma's got the Dragon Balls, and of course they need to make a wish. And Piccolo's thought was to, get his potential unlocked, just like what the Elder Guru did to Krillin and Gohan on planet Namek. So he thinks, let's get Shenron to unlock my potential. So he goes to Bulma, gets the Dragon Balls, and asks for that wish. And Shenron says, I've kind of give you a little bit extra too, but, that's a wink wink. You'll find out about that later.
Can I just jump in there and point out, I can't actually believe that the Bulma wish for a nice ass is real.
Yeah, that's what I was literally just about to say. I can't believe it.
And also, not only that, the third wish is for less wrinkles. So not only...
Well, it wasn't less wrinkles. It was to make the eyelashes slightly longer.
Yeah. So not only is it bad, it's even worse.
Yeah, because we called it. We discussed this on our last podcast. If you haven't already seen that, go check that out. Wink, wink. Subscribe down below. But we were saying Bulma should not make any more wishes. And she knew about Maxell. She knew about the Red Ribbon Army. She knew there was a fight about to happen, and Piccolo's rushing around trying to get the Dragon Balls to unlock his potential to become stronger. There are 3 wishes, and she uses 2 of them for slightly longer eyelashes and to make her ass a bit more plump. And it's like, I can't believe it. Bulma, so selfish. They could have wished for Goku and Vegeta to return to the planet since they can't get in contact with Whis, so then they can help out in the fight because they don't know how bad the fight's going to be. But no, she's completely selfish in this one.
The amount... Some of the fan service for Bulma in this film, like the animators take some liberties at points in this film, like. Yeah.
But I thought that was ridiculous. We called it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Like we'd say like it's a meme, but then we said it wouldn't surprise if it turned out not to be a meme.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. But yes, this does unlock a new form of Piccolo anyway. And he gets his potential unlocked, which basically the wrinkle, like, I don't want to call them wrinkles, but like the lines in his skin all smooth out. And he becomes like a slightly lighter green color, is the best way to put it. And this is like potential unlocked Piccolo. And it's great and everything, but he's still kind of getting bodied a bit. He's not strong enough. And then as he falls backwards, like this symbol appears on his back and he turns orange. And the best way to describe it is he's like slightly taller.
It's like an explosion of light at first as well, isn't there?
Yeah, he's a bit taller, about a foot taller or something. He turns orange and he's a bit more buff. He's
like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he's been in the gym and his chin especially he's been working out that chin because his chin is fully defined now. But apart from that, that's about it. He's a bit stronger and orange and bigger, and that's it.
Just buff, really.
Yeah.
Really buff.
And he names the form himself. He says, it's just Orange Piccolo. That's what you can call it. And that's confirmed. Well, in Japanese at least, maybe not in English, but I doubt they'll change it. I think it'll just be Orange Piccolo.
He doesn't play games, does that Piccolo, really?
He doesn't. He likes things simple and to the point, No need to mess around with Super Duper Saiyan and Master Ultra and say, oh, that's it. It's just, I'm orange, call me Orange Piccolo. That's
To
the
be
form.
fair, Super Saiyan isn't exactly like
Well, it's not.
that
Yeah, to be
complex, really, is it?
yeah,
It's just better Saiyan.
yeah. But super God saying blah blah blah, all
Yeah,
this
I
stuff.
suppose
Blue.
it is blue Saiyan, so it's like
Yeah. So Orange Piccolo
anyway.
now.
Yeah,
What were your thoughts about seeing Orange Piccolo?
I I thought it was pretty straightforward. I mean, the unlocked potential one
Hmm.
is it was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because but to be honest, what could they have really done with him?
Yeah. It was a quick throwaway form
Yeah, but
to
I
get to
did like
Orange.
that. Yeah, but then when they had like the transformation itself was really cool because it just hit to black, and
Hmm.
then the Shenron symbol, and then the explode, and then you just saw nothing, and then there was just this explode like fountain of light that
Hmm.
you don't all you see is the light, and he's just there, and he's just this beast.
Yeah.
Um, I just think it's really cool. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Me
And it's
too.
just they had to make him bigger. They had to make him more buff and everything like because again, there's not really a lot more they can do because all
With
they would
Piccolo.
really
Yeah.
be able to do is give him aura. They can't
Hmm.
change his hair or anything like that.
Yeah.
All they could do is give him more muscle and give him more mass.
Hmm.
Um, and I think they did it quite well
Yeah. I liked
because
it.
they did. Yeah, they gave him more animation. They give him more detail.
Hmm.
And I think that's all they could have really done with him is they just added more mass to be able to give him more
Hmm.
detail. So I think that's the only direction they could have took, and I think they did it well.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it seems like he kind of can control it already. So if in future fights, we're going to see that orange form return definitely. He knows how to use it. He knows how to transform into it. So this is basically like the Saiyans going Super Saiyan or Ultra Instinct or whatever. He can turn it on now and
Yeah,
turn orange, which is great.
it's also very powerful.
Yeah,
He went from struggling. He was basically getting absolutely bodied by Gamma 2, and I mean absolutely ruined
yeah,
by Gamma 2. In his unlocked potential form
mm.
from Shenron, he one-shot Gamma 2.
Yeah.
Single punch defeated Gamma 2.
Mm.
Simple
And
as that.
I want to mention the fact that he remembers, thanks to Krillin, that he can turn big again.
Yeah,
Like this is a form.
giant Piccolo.
Yeah, he hasn't used this form in such a long time. I can't remember if he's used it after OG Dragon Ball, but that was the one that was mentioned. He was like, remember in the martial arts tournament, he turned big. Why don't you do that again? So he does, and he says that, yeah, the form, it makes me big, but I don't get any stronger by doing this. I'm still the same strength. It's just basically I'm big now, which is fine. But it was nice to see a throwback to seeing Big Piccolo because Krillin literally needs to remind him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that. Thanks, Krillin." And then he turns big again. I liked
Thanks
it.
for reminding me how my body works.
Yeah, because he's been doing the stretchy arms for a little while now. He brought a comeback to them, but he hasn't done the big form in a while. So I was
Which
happy to
again
see it.
we see, which I love
Yeah,
because he uses
big
that
version with stretchy arms as well.
yeah, he uses that to hold Maxell in place while we get to see the Gohan special beam cannon.
Yeah, yeah,
Which I just
but yeah, I loved everything about Piccolo in this film. His transformations, the story, which focused on him, everything that he does, all his interactions with Pan and Bulma and Gohan, just everything was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think they did. I think it's finally great to see that it's a time that they haven't done Piccolo dirty for so long since they've done Piccolo dirty, and now he's finally had his moment, and I just absolutely love that.
Yeah.
He's never really had his shining moment, and now it's like yes,
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah.
Because I just love Piccolo. I think they finally in this film. There's been a couple of our characters who we've just waited for their moment, and they finally got it.
Yeah.
And we'll cover another one of those guys later, and I can't wait to do it.
Yeah. But we'll move on now because we spoke about Piccolo, and this video is already getting long. So next up, we've got to speak about the main villain. Well, kind of the main villain, I guess, but Maxell. And the first thing I want to say is people are thinking this is Cell returning. It's the return of Cell, but it's not. It's a different Cell. It's not the same Cell. It's a new android that was created by Dr. Hedo, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's a robot.
yeah,
It's not an android really or anything like that. I mean, he
yeah,
doesn't really have any. It just seems like a robot because he doesn't have any regeneration powers or anything like
yeah.
that.
But he looks like second form Cell, but he's green and red. You know, he's got all the Christmas colors, and he's big. He's a
Yeah,
giant. But other than
and
that, he doesn't say any words.
he roars a lot. He's
He
basically Herudigon.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He reminded me of Herudigon. Um, I
I was
don't know how I
disappointed
feel.
by him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how I feel about this because it was teased so much. Sal's return, and it was pretty obvious from the teasers and everything. Like,
I I'll say this. I was disappointed by him.
yeah,
To me, semi-perfect Cell is the worst Cell.
yeah,
Um, Cell to me is the first Cell is the terrifying Cell.
mm,
Third Cell is the best Cell in my opinion because the best thing about him was how articulate he was, how he was, and how he was able to dominate and everything like that. And I was hoping to see that again because I was I thought they may be able to bring that back somehow, and how there may be some type of link to
mm,
the previous saga
mm,
or something like that, or just some sinister because the articulate nature of the third Cell allows him to be very sinister.
yeah,
Plus, I just think he looks really cool.
yeah,
So for them to pick semi-perfect and all he does is roar, he can't speak.
mhm,
So it's the giant roaring mess. Now I know people could very easily say all Broly did is shout.
mm,
However, Broly had exposition prior. We saw a lot with Broly first, and also there's a lot behind Broly's rage as well.
mhm.
So there was more to it. Whereas literally, this is just a big, giant, angry robot
Yeah.
that
This is kind.
got no reason. He literally, from the get go, is just a roaring robot.
Yeah, this is kind of like Herudigon mixed with Bio Broly because the Bio Broly film is terrible because it's the third time Broly's seen, but he doesn't really say anything, and he's like a mutant type thing mess. And this is what this Max Cell reminded me of. He had some cool moments with his attacks because he was basically exploding, and he did look like second form Cell, but it was a recolor being red and green. Um, but as a main villain, I guess it was underwhelming because there was loads of theories like, oh, it's the actual Cell returning, which would have been cool if there was interactions between Cell and Gohan again, as if Cell remembered him, but that wasn't the case. And then there's also kind of theories maybe Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 fuse into the main villain, which again didn't happen. So this is kind of like, oh, we've got a shouty monster as the main villain. Okay. And it was a bit underwhelming, but it didn't take away from the film, I guess, because the end fight was still great. Just the character as a whole, I didn't care about. I thought it could have been better.
Yeah, I didn't. I just thought it was a large, powerful obstacle to overcome.
Mm.
That was it.
Yeah.
It didn't literally like the only reason Gohan needed to be powerful was because the enemy was strong.
Mm.
There was no emotional resonance behind it.
Mm.
The only reason he got emotional was because he saw Piccolo get hurt, whereas we saw Cell inflict suffering on 16 and take joy out of it.
Yeah.
He watched Cell take joy, hurt the people he loved, so there was emotional resonance. This is the original Cell, obviously. Whereas here, he just saw this raging monster happen to hurt someone he loves, so it feels a lot less earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one final thing I want to mention about Cell is original Cell. At the very end, he decides he's had enough. He's going to blow up the planet by self-destructing, and it takes Goku transporting him to King Kai's planet to explode because he's literally going to blow up Earth. This Cell, who is much stronger because it makes Goku and Piccolo get new forms and all this stuff to defeat him. He self-destructs at the end of the fight because he's about to die, and Gohan hits the special beam cannon to his head because his head's his weak point. He basically scalps him, and he self-destructs that way because Dr. Hedo even says like that's his weak point. If you destroy his head, then that's it. He will self-destruct. The self-destruct doesn't come close to blowing up the planet. It leaves a pretty big crater, but that's it, which was surprising to me because I assumed this is going to blow up the planet. Like the previous cell could blow up the planet by self-destructing, and he's not as strong, I assume, as this max cell. And the max cell self-destruct is just a crater. It's like, all right.
It kind of blew up, that's it.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting, oh god, is the planet about to explode here? No one's really panicking as much as expected here.
So it must have just been a explosion. That's it.
Yeah, it was. So it was a bit like, oh, okay. Because the first thing I thought was it didn't blow up the planet, but the other cells would have blew up the planet. But it's a throwaway point, I guess. No, they never said it was going to blow up the planet. It's just if you've seen Z and kind of think that cells could blow up the planet with his, it's kind of maybe a bit expected, but it doesn't. But yeah.
No.
Throwaway point.
But yeah, I think it could have been a lot better. Again, I think it's just kind of Heeroon 2.0.
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, but we've mentioned the Gammas in there, so let's talk about the Gammas and Dr. Hedo as a whole.
Yes.
Because throughout...
It's surprising to me. This was quite surprising to me.
Yeah, because throughout the trailers, it seems like Dr. Hedo, and I guess the Gammas as well, are the bad guys, which they kind of are, kind of aren't. I guess this is a good way to put it. Magenta and Carmine, who are the bad guys, kind of recruit Dr. Hedo and kind of tell him that Capsule Corp are the bad guys. And he's like, oh, what? Okay, I'll help you. Because, I want to create good in the world and this type of thing. And he creates the android, he creates the Gammas to help out and that type of thing, to take out the evil Saiyans and Piccolo and everyone.
Because I should point out that Hedo is Dr. Giro's grandson.
Yes.
Yes.
And Magenta is the son of Commander Red from OG Dragon Ball. So, Commander Red dies because of Goku, and Magenta being the son of Commander Red, it's like he wants to get revenge, pretty much.
Yeah, because we also get a tiny little Easter egg in that a character called Vomi is the wife of Dr. Giro, and that character is actually the human counterpart of Android 21.
Yeah, which was a bit unexpected to be shown, but also, Android 21 has appeared in a few games here and there. But it's confirmed now, the human version, Vomi, is a real person.
So whilst 21 isn't necessarily confirmed, the human version is.
Yeah.
So does that mean potential?
And 16 was also confirmed as the son of Android Giro and Vomi, Android 21. And his name was Gebo. So that's interesting as well.
Yeah. But yes, so I suppose that 100% confirms where the superhero title comes from, is that the Gammas actually genuinely believe they are superheroes.
Yeah.
There to take out the Capsule Corp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they believe they are the good guys taking out Capsule Corp.
Yeah. And
good guys.
I loved Gamma 2 especially in this.
He is a walking meme.
Yeah, Gamma 2 and Gamma 1, they're completely different. Gamma 1 is the red one, Gamma 2 is the blue one, to make it a bit more easier. And yeah, I loved Gamma 2 especially. He was like doing superhero poses all the time, whereas Gamma 1 was like the straight man of the two. Like Gamma 2 was the goofy one, Gamma 1 was the straight man. And I loved the dynamic between the two, but Gamma 2 had all the spotlight pretty much. He was the one who fought Piccolo. He was the one who got Piccolo to come back to the lair. Well, he led him to the lair pretty much without knowing. But
Seems to me that they still can't sense ki.
Yeah,
Androids are useless at sensing ki.
They are.
like he fought Piccolo. He thought he blew him up in a blast, and Piccolo was dodging out the way and was directly behind him. And Gamma was just like, "Cool, I killed him," and then went straight back to the Red Ribbon Army. Piccolo was just like, "Tee hee, didn't kill me."
Yeah.
They should really build in some way of sensing ki, because that's a massive flaw in androids.
Yeah, but I guess at the end of the film, Dr. Heeroh realizes that he's in the wrong and he tries to help out, and so do the Gammas as well. And Gamma 2 does one of the best moments in the film where he sacrifices himself to try and kill Max Cell. He goes to the Earth's atmosphere to dive bomb down to hit the head of Cell, because that's the weak point, as we've previously discussed. And he rips the arm off Max Cell. But he does sacrifice himself overall. He does die in the film, which I thought was a bit surprising, to be honest. I wasn't I was either expecting them both to die because both of them would be the bad guys, or they would both survive. And I liked Gamma 2 more as well. Gamma 1 didn't really do as much. He did have a fight against Gohan, which was cool, and something I should have mentioned during the Gohan bit, but Gohan, just mid-fight, they're doing beam blasts and everything, and they're fighting. Gohan, whilst talking to Piccolo, just picks Gamma 1 up, hits him with a brain buster, and I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? Hitting out the wrestling
chatting away and suplexes him. Yeah, I forgot about
it. It was a full-on brain buster down on the head. I was like, wow, okay. Brain buster's popping out here. I thought that was a funny moment, though. And since I'm a wrestling fan, I did pop for that. I was like, yes, that's good. Yeah. But the Gamma 1 doesn't really do much apart from the fight against Gohan.
I did like Gamma 2, especially. He's literally just a walking meme throughout.
Yeah, he was funny. I did like him.
And I did like that they were polar opposites. If they were both quite silly, I don't think it would have worked as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that Gamma 1 is so serious all the time and Gamma 2 is just being dumb throughout, and Gamma 1's just like, we pack it in.
Yeah.
Gamma 2's just like, no.
Yeah. I did love that.
Like, even if you can't understand what they're saying, which obviously we couldn't, you could just tell that it was annoying the life out of Gamma 1.
The thing that gives me hope, though, is the fact that Dr. Heeroh says earlier in the film that he can create an unlimited amount of Gamma 1s and Gamma 2s if he wanted to, but instead Magenta and Carmine were pushing Max Cell as a thing to focus on more. So we could see the return of Gamma 2, but it would be a different version, but it would kind of be the same anyway. But Gamma 2 was the star of the Gammas. And his sacrifice at the end was an incredible moment. I loved it. He powered up, he goes to the Earth's atmosphere, he dive bombs down, sacrificing himself to try and kill Max Cell. It was a great moment.
It was one of the best moves in the film.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was expecting them to go the other route. I thought with Gamma 2 fully embracing the superhero gimmick, I guess, and being all flashy and all the bravado and the poses and everything, and Gamma 1 constantly telling him to stop and just be serious and stuff. I thought when they were doing the fight that Gamma 1 might realize that Gamma 2's in trouble, and he would be the one to do the ultimate sacrifice, and realizing, like, this is what I've got to do to be a hero. But no, it's Gamma 2. He kind of straightens out, he stops being silly and does the ultimate sacrifice, which...
So I suppose that makes sense, really. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
But he was the better character of the two.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
But because by the end, at the end of the film, because Heeroh actually gets shot by Magenta, and he actually gets really hurt by Max Cell. You actually think he's dead at one point. Turns out he's not.
Yeah, he's wearing armor, so the shot that he takes from Magenta, it doesn't affect him because he's wearing armor underneath his clothes. It was like a fake out moment, but he does get hurt by Max Cell.
And the Gammas really care about him.
Yeah.
They actually genuinely care about him.
That's what caused the sacrifice, because he sees Dr. Heeroh down and he's like, yeah, okay, I'm going in.
And so at the end, they end up Bulma lets them agrees to let them work a capsule core, so we might actually see them in the future.
Yeah, I think we will. I definitely think we will.
So next time we see them, there could actually be a Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, because Dr. Heeroh might make a second Gamma 2.
Yeah.
But So there's no reason why we could at least see Gamma 1
Yeah,
again.
he said he can make an unlimited amount, so I'm assuming they'll bring him back just because I think he will be a fan favorite coming out of this film. I think out of all of the new characters, he was my favorite.
I think what they'll do is they'll just do something simple like make a Gamma 2 and say, oh, he has the memories of Gamma 2. And
yeah,
or something.
he doesn't even need the memories to be fair, though, because the only memories that we know of are of that fight. So they can just reset him back to how he was, just being a goofy Gamma, and he just has no recollection of that fight, and they can continue.
Yeah, I suppose as long as he's still all memey and that, then I think people will be happy.
Yeah, so I'll be fine with that. But let's move on now. We can't go a full Dragon Ball film without mentioning Goku, of course. So there was a mini like Beerus Planet sub arc going on, which this is why Goku, Vegeta, Broly, Beerus, Whis, Chilai, and the other man, little guy,
Fish boy,
who I can't remember his name of. But yeah, they're in this film briefly. Literally, probably 10 minutes max overall. Maybe even less.
Did it as fan service. This entire moment is fan service.
They didn't need to be in the film. They were unneeded.
Nope. Broly, it shows that he still can't contain his rage.
Yeah, so the first thing I think we should mention is that there is a bit of a time skip. So we know this film takes place 4 months after the Tournament of Power, at least 4 months, because Beerus has been asleep for a 4-month nap, and he wakes up to find Broly on his planet, and he's like, what's Broly doing here? So it's been at least 4 months since, well, not since the Tournament of Power, but since the Broly film, I guess. However long in between the end of the Broly film and Goku going back to Broly to say, come train with us, that isn't quite decided, but it's been at least 4 months since then. But yeah, they're all on Beerus's planet training anyway. And yeah, Broly's learning the Jiren techniques of staying still, not moving, and just trying to be, zen.
So, yeah, because apparently there wasn't a very big strength difference between the Saiyans and Jiren. Apparently, it was that.
Don't know about that.
Well, according to Vegeta, it was the fact that Jiren's meditation allowed him not to waste
energy,
and moves, not to make mistakes. And Whis apparently confirmed this.
Yeah. So that's what Broly's trying to learn. That's Broly's thing.
No, that's what Vegeta's trying to learn through his meditation.
But we see Broly doing it in the film. Like, Broly's the one, like, Goku and Vegeta are fighting, and Broly is sitting there being zen, like, just watching pretty much. He doesn't want to move.
And Vegeta's basically, so Broly can't control his rage, full stop. So they're basically not letting him fight.
Yeah. Basically. What I liked about this, though, is the fact that Goku and Vegeta have a full-on fight, like a mini fight, I guess, and they don't go Super Saiyan, they don't go max, like, transformation or anything. They're in base form, which is cool. They're trying to get their full power in base form, which I like. I like that.
Yeah. But no, that's what Vegeta's doing as well, because that's why he's letting Broly and Goku train, because he's trying to copy Jiren. Because by the end of the film, and we find this out by the end of the last credits, because he's learned to embrace what Jiren's done or doing, Vegeta beats Goku. He finally wins.
Yeah. He does. He lands the finishing blow on Goku. Well, kind of. They're both worn out and fighting in slow motion. But Vegeta taps him on the stomach and Goku falls down defeated, and then Vegeta falls down after him. But it counts as a Vegeta win, I guess. So, fair play.
Like, the tiniest bit, like, they both pass out, but after so many years, Kakarot is defeated. I mean, they don't power up. There are no key blasts or anything like that, but it doesn't matter. It's official.
Yeah.
So Piccolo gets his win. Vegeta gets his win after so many years.
It's a great film. But yeah, like this.
Finally, it's fair and it's time.
I'm glad they didn't spend long on this because they didn't need to be in this film at all. The only reason they're there is because they needed a reason for Goku and Vegeta not being around to help out. And they did that by Whis being distracted because Beerus throws an ice cream carton on top of Whis' staff. So when Bulma tries to contact him, he just doesn't notice his staff ringing like a phone, which whatever. But then that's why like they're not involved because Whis is distracted and doesn't realize Bulma's trying to get in contact, and then they're off training.
Literally, that's all you see from the film is that they're training. Broly can't control his rage still, but he's trying to. They're not letting him fight because he can't control his rage. So he's frustrated. I mean, even without the subtitles, you can tell that he's frustrated. So basically, he's having to watch and he wants to get in. But like you can tell from his face that he's watching them fight and he wants to be involved. So instead, he's just intensely watching them. And I could tell that even before I'd looked into context that he wants to be involved, but he can't. And of course, you get the fight between Goku and Vegeta, and Vegeta gets the win, and that's it. That's all you see from them from the film, nothing else. And so, I think that was great.
Yeah, I also really like that as well. They did need to be in the film because it's a Dragon Ball film, but I'm really happy they were in for maybe 10 minutes max. So happy with that. But speaking of other characters who aren't in the film for a long time, we have 18, we have Krillin, we have Goten and Trunks, and that's pretty much it. They all make an appearance towards the end of the film.
They literally don't appear until that final fight. They literally just happen to hop off the flying truck thing that Bulma always has. I don't know why they didn't fly, but
because Bulma can't fly and she's the boss. That's why they didn't fly.
I don't really know. Did Bulma need to be there?
Probably not.
But yeah, they all just randomly appear, so you don't really see the Gotenks duo until literally right at the end. So, which was surprising, but the boys are looking. It's interesting to see them grown up.
So Piccolo kind of explains this. He says like, "Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that Saiyans kind of stay small for a long time and then grow quite quickly in a short period of time." Because again, it's been at least maybe 4 months since the Broly film, and in the Broly film, they are shown slightly, and they're still tiny. And now they're like teenagers, so they've grown quite quickly in a short space of time. Which is fine. I don't mind it.
But
I thought it was a bigger time jump than what it was, but yeah, it's been 4 to 6 months maybe.
Because Pan's 3 now.
Yeah, and she was a baby the last time we saw her during Super, like the anime.
Yeah, because at one point I thought it was 4 years, but then obviously she can't be if she's only 3. But yes. So they do fuse, as we've heard. However, they scuff it.
And we see another ass in this film. Yeah, it's not just Bulma. We do see it, and it's not 18, but it's fat Gotenks. He rips his pants at one point,
just reminds me once again why I hate Gotenks.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Gotenks either, but they kind of use them as a pinball in this fight anyway, because everyone, I guess they're there to help out with the fight against Max Cell. So everyone's jumping in, doing beam attacks and everything, and Goten and Trunks transform into Gotenks, but it fails. He's fat, and the other characters just throw him around like a pinball to try and hit Cell, and that's fine, but he rips his pants, and they show it too much. I think haha, funny, he ripped his pants, show a bit of his backside, I guess, but they show it like 3 or 4 times, and it's like, okay, yeah, it was funny the first time, but you know, you keep showing it now, it's a bit much.
Yeah, and then he lands head to head with on Max Cell's head, and it cracks part of his skull.
Yeah,
which is kind of pointless in the end because the special beam cannon would have done the job regardless.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah.
So, but then 18 doesn't really do anything. She just does a couple of beams.
And then she disappears from animation from it. So you don't really see her in terms of the animation. Krillin does turn up. He
helps out Piccolo slightly.
yeah, he gets Pan. You see in the middle of the chaos. She when Gotenks headbutts, that annoys Maxell, obviously, and he just sends out a million blasts. Now, Pan's in the middle of this, and she tries to run away from the blast. She's obviously just little, and as we know, she's not been able to master flight yet. So she's not keeping up with the staying ahead of all the blasts, and she just jumps, and then suddenly she manages to fly.
Yeah, that's like another mini arc of the film, is that Piccolo's been trying to teach her to fly, and then at the very end, when she's about to die from Cell's blast, she finally does it. So that was a cool moment. But I don't want to talk too much about Pan, even though she is a main character, I guess, in this. She gets kidnapped. She is strong. She beats up some of the Red Ribbon goons. But her mini arc is just Piccolo pretending to capture her, and then her trying to learn to fly, and then she does at the end, which is cool.
I would like to say that throughout, I've always talked a bit ill of Pan throughout, because I was worried she'd be a flaw in this film because of her roles in GT. And
there's still time yet. She can still grow older. But
I actually liked her in this film. I think they did right.
Yeah.
I think she did very well in this film. I think compared to how they portrayed her previously, I think she did very well. I think she was quite adorable, and she did everything that she should have done. I liked her in this.
The one thing I thought was a little bit interesting, kind of, is the fact that at the end, she's flying, like after the fight, she's flying around showing off that she can fly, and she goes past all of the characters who were there. And at this point, Trunks and Goten are like defused, they're back to normal, and they do the transformation again, and it shows you like the color, because the colors come around them, like the blue and red glow goes around them just before they fuse, and that happens again, and Pan like flies past them, so you know that they fuse, but you don't get to see Gotenks. But they did it right, because their fingers touched perfectly that time, but you don't get to see Gotenks, so they really teased it.
To see if they did it right.
But yeah, you don't actually see Gotenks.
That's pretty much the end then.
Yeah. But it would have been nice to see what Team Gotenks looks like, at least. But
I think that's the point, because I mean, the Gotenks that you saw, the fat Gotenks, he looks pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, because Fat Gotenks was just pretty much a ball anyway.
Yeah, so I think
a slightly bigger ball now, but
it was kind of a little bit lazy animation, because the fat obviously makes them push out, so you don't really have to do much.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, the side characters don't get involved too much, like I say, but they just come in at the very end. But they were still fine for what they did. It was nice to see Goten and Trunks slightly older. And I guess in a way it was nice to see Gotenks again, even though it was Fat Gotenks. But he outlived his welcome very quickly with the split pants, which they focused on too much. But yeah, 18 doesn't do anything really. Krillin,
she's in it for a couple of key blasts, but then they kind of write her out the animation.
Yeah.
They just kind of say, "Look, she's doing some cool blasts," and then
yep,
she doesn't leave or anything like that. She's just not in the animations.
I don't even think she really says anything. She says like one thing to Krillin when they first turn up, and then that's it.
Yeah, she does the whole "look at me, I'm cool," as she always does. She has like a cool line, like a cool delivery, and then
that's it.
Obviously, I don't know what she said. Obviously, I don't know what she said, but the way she said it was cool. But that's just 18 for you. That she'll always say one thing in like a drop tone, and then, but then she delivered a few blasts, and then you don't see her again.
So the side character is a bit underwhelming, but of course there was a lot of characters in this film, so they didn't need the focus, and they definitely didn't have the focus.
Side note, what I will point out is the trailers show Frieza, and he's not in the film.
He is in we're talking about Frieza slightly, so we'll show an image of Frieza, but he isn't in the film.
Which I think's good. He should not be in this film.
Yeah, they teased him in one of the trailers. Like, they showed his face, and it's like, Frieza's also in this film? How many people do you need in this film? But no, it's just like, no, they mention him, and they show a picture of him.
I don't think he should have been. I think it would have been pointless, and he should have been in it. And I'm glad he wasn't.
They could have done
I
that.
love Frieza. He's a legend, and I love him. But he had no place in this film.
Yeah, they could have teased Jiren the same way because they talk about Jiren, but Jiren's not in the film, and they show Jiren, but it's just like flashbacks. Yeah, the same with Frieza, but they teased Frieza in the trailers. They didn't tease Jiren, but they could have. Yeah. And if they did, I would be like, okay, come on. How many characters actually in this film? We don't need this many. Well, they didn't need to tease Frieza.
I think it was unnecessary to put him in the trailers, but I'm glad he wasn't in the film.
False advertising, if anything. Like, people are hyped to see Frieza. Like, oh my god, Frieza's in this film? Okay, I'm definitely watching it now. But he's not. It's a bit of false advertising.
That's literally the only reason that he was in it, to hype people. But I'm glad he wasn't. I love him, but I'm glad he wasn't. It would have been too much, and it wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a Piccolo film. Like, yeah. I think it was maybe only a flashback.
It was.
Might have been in it.
It was. Yeah. But I guess that's kind of it for the characters and the arcs and stuff. So we can briefly mention the animation because I realize this video is extremely long. Yeah. So animation was great. I liked it. I'm fully for the 3D CGI style of animation of Dragon Ball. I understand that's how things are going now. You know, you don't see too many animes in 2D Dragon Ball style anymore. It's just a sign of the times. You know, things are getting better, things are getting more detailed, and I'm all for it. I don't mind it. Like, I do like the Dragon Ball style, of course, like the 2D style, but I'm all for 3D. I don't mind it. And
disagree.
Wow.
Fully disagree. I don't like how the Saiyans look at all. The hairstyles were just not good.
Gohan's hairstyle was not good, but I did really like his normal hair. I liked Gohan's new normal hairstyle, like the plain hairstyle that he had, like the curly hair. I liked it. It was a new Gohan hairstyle. We haven't seen a new Gohan hairstyle in a while, and I liked it. I really liked it. But his new transformation hairstyle, not bad.
The laying of Vegeta's hairstyle was weird in the CGI. It was like the shadowing of it was like it was small details like that, and it's when the animation of the fight, when the fights are happening,
they look great.
It looks great.
Yeah,
it looks great in the fights, but when they're talking and things like that, and things are slower, I notice everything a lot more. It stands out a lot more to me. Yeah. And like when they're flying about and talking and stuff like that, like when the Gamma 2 and Piccolo are talking, and obviously they're up in the air and they're flying and stuff, it's fine. But when they're just standing talking, I see it so much, and I notice it. And that's when I saw it, like on Beerus's planet, I saw it so much. Yeah. Like Vegeta sitting talking, and I was just looking at his hair, and I was like, your hair's weird. I don't like your hair. I don't like your hair. What's wrong with your hair? And stuff like that. And it's small details like that kind of take my immersion out, and I don't like it. But when the fights are happening and everything like that, it lets you jump in. It's like the Broly film. It was like, I preferred it drawing, but when the CGI was happening in the background, they used it well and stuff like that. So again, the CGI can be used well in the fights, so that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But again, that's the fights.
See, I'm all for it. Like, they've been slowly moving into it for a long time now. Like, all of the newer games are in 3D. And, you know, some of the newer films have bits of CGI in as well. So now they've went fully all out 3D. And I'm fine with it. You know, if you hadn't watched the 2D Dragon Ball and this was your first time, I don't think you would have any problem at all with the way things look. It's just because you're kind of used to the characters looking 2D, and that's always going to be the struggle. You know, you're never ever going to have a 2D character look exactly the same 3D because they don't. That's impossible. You know, it's a 3D character versus a 2D character. They do look different, but I personally think they did a good job. I'm fine with all the character models. I'm fine. I love the fights, especially. I think the fights look even better in 3D, so I'm fine with it. I don't mind. And the animation was on point as expected from a Dragon Ball film.
Yeah. Don't think the animation wasn't. I'm not saying the animation was bad.
Yeah.
I just think that these were things that at times I noticed, and it did. Like I was like watching, I was enjoying, and then I was like, what's his hair doing? Wait, what? And then I would get back to the film, and it would only break my immersion for a second, but it would just be like, wait, what? And then I would be back on it, and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
And that
didn't affect me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker or anything like that. It's not that. But it's like, to me, Broly is the pinnacle of Dragon Ball animation for me so far.
I did like that as well. I've got to be honest.
I think, yeah. And I think, to be honest, but the fights were great. I very much enjoyed the fights.
Yeah.
However, to me, the fights in Broly and the animation fights in Broly were better than the fights in this.
Yeah, I think that's because we have Saiyans going against each other with animations and stuff, whereas this was a big guy.
However, I will also be honest, and I will be fair. We have not seen this in full resolution and everything like that.
Yes,
it's a very poor copy.
This was a not quite authentic version. Let's put it that way.
That's all we're saying. Yeah. There was issues with the resolution, is all I'm going to say. That's all we're saying. There were problems with the resolution that we saw. That's all we're saying. Yeah. We couldn't see the resolution very well. So I'll reserve judgment fully for when I see it with a better copy. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, we've already talked about the fights and everything. So I guess any closing comments? I guess from me, go watch it. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you should enjoy it. I have seen people online already saying, it's a disappointing film and everything, but I think that's just because Goku and Vegeta aren't as involved. But if you're a fan of the side characters, then you'll love it. I love Piccolo, I love Gohan, and I love this film. I thought it was great. I really loved it.
I loved it as well. Gohan and Piccolo are my boys, so I thoroughly loved it. I think that the fact that they committed to not putting Vegeta and Goku in a Gohan and Piccolo film was smart, and I really enjoyed that. Like, if you're going to do a Gohan and Piccolo film, do not put Goku and Vegeta in it.
Yeah,
give us some of it. Give us some of them, and say, look, here they are doing their thing, but commit to it. And I thought they did it very well. And Special Beam Cannon Gohan, yes,
absolutely icing on the cake. Yeah, loved that.
Loved it.
But yeah, I loved it.
In a little while, haven't we?
we have just a little while, almost an hour. But yeah, this is.
If you're going to spoil it right.
Yeah, we have fully went in depth. We've said all of our opinions, and if even just one of you have decided to watch this film because of our review of it, then I think we've done our job well as reviewing this. So I hope you have enjoyed this video anyway. And if you have stuck around to the end, then we appreciate it. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Like up the video, it helps out a lot. Leave some comments about what you thought about the film as well if you have already seen it. And we'll definitely be talking more about this film in our upcoming podcast coming up on Friday. So look forward to that. And yeah, that's it from us. So we will see you all next time.
Yeah.